So they are indispensable topic in English. So there's no way we are going to talk about a correct sentence without mentioning tenses. These are elements in English that always emphasize the time when an action take place. So if you can understand the concepts about the time when something happens, I believe you can master tenses. So tenses, and in today's lesson, we're going to focus on tenses and verb forms. The focus is on present simple, present continuous, and past simple. So these are the preliminaries in tenses. As we all know that TPAS stands for what? A simple path to success. So our goal is to be successful in today's lesson. Okay, so let's analyze these three sentences. I eat rice every day. I am eating rice right now. Or I am eating rice now. I ate rice yesterday. Can you type the tenses? Yeah, in the chat box. I eat rice every day. What is the exact time difference what is the exact difference in time? Which sentence shows habit? Which one shows now? And which one shows past? I want you to, our lesson is always engaging. Yeah. So we always try as much as possible to interact and participate. Yeah, if today is your first time joining TPL entrance lesson, always know that you will be involved in the class. It's different from normal traditional lesson. Our goal is not to leave anyone behind. So I would want you to type in the chat box the sentence that indicates habit, the one that talks about what is happening now, and the one that shows past. Okay, I'll give you 45 seconds for that. Yeah, because in your exam you will not be given much time to answer questions. So time is not your friend. Yeah, you have to be time conscious. Okay, thank you, Tammy. Thank you, Akario. I ate rice yesterday past. Good. Okay. Aditos. Habits now. Okay, past. Good, good. So that's what we want to analyze. The reason why we're bringing it from the basic is for people that are still struggling a bit with it. Yeah, in language or in education, we don't believe that a student knows everything. We want to introduce from the basic to complex. So that's what we want to do right now. Okay, let's move on. So what is tense really? Tense is not just, please kindly mute your mic. He's talking.
Yàtọ̀ sí pé àwọn ọmọ yẹn náà wà desperate lórí owó, wọ́n tí Tinubu náà dálẹ̀ ló pọ̀ jù láàrin.
Kindly mute your mic, please. If I'm admitting you to the class, please don't distract us. Always mute your mic. I think that's basically what is distracting our lessons. Okay, what is tense really? Tense is not just grammar, it is time, meaning plus context. In English, we never choose a verb form randomly. Every choice is governed by three precise elements. The first one is what? Time. That's when the action happens. Past, present, or future timeline anchor. There's no guess in this. Yeah, always like in our lesson, we don't use guess or we don't indulge you in memorizing past questions or anything. We want you to understand the rudiments, that's the ingredients or the context of whatever you're presented with. So it's always important that It's important that you pay attention to the time when an event happens. That's how you can master what tense. Past, you have to check the time phrases. You have to check the time where there. Is it past? Is it present? Or future time like anchor? So the second thing you need to pay attention to is the action type, meaning is it a permanent habit or ongoing? Please kindly mute your mic as you are joining. Yeah, is it a permanent habit or an ongoing event or in progress? For example, when I take on a book like a novel, I want to start reading it. I haven't completed reading it. So you know that that action is still in progress. So yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean that right now I'm reading it, but I just know that I've taken on a novel, but it's still in progress. I've not finished reading it. So you have to pay attention to when the thing is happening, when the action is happening. Is it a permanent action, or is it an ongoing event? Or it's a completed what event that the action has already been completed. So there are always different contexts to this. That's what we want to focus on today. So let's look at the first tense, which is what the present simple. This is the one that explains what is happening now. That is the current event. Yeah, it's what it talks about habits, something that you do regularly is already your habits. Yeah, every one of us have our own specific work habits that we do. So it talks about facts. Facts are something that are generally true. Whenever you want to explain facts, you use what the present simple to talk about it. So when to use present simple, that's when some students would want to ask, when should we use present simple? Is it should we use it in everything that is talking about the present, or their situation at which we want to use it? But before we go straight to it, I would want to tell you that present simple is different from present continuous. Okay, so let's move on. When to use present simple, first is for what? Permanent truth. When something is truth, is a scientific fact or permanent situation that is true, you use what? The present simple to talk about it. Another one is what daily routines, about what you do regularly. For example, in the morning, I wake up at 8 a.m. or sometimes it can be I wake up at 5 a.m. Not I am waking up. No, I wake up at 5 a.m. This is what I do every time. These are my routine. After that, I do the house chores. I wouldn't say that I did the house chores because I'm saying it about my routine now. I'm explaining my routine. So I'm going to use what the present simple to relay that. Kindly mute your mic as you are joining, please, to avoid distractions. So when to use them, I told you the first one is to use them to talk about something that is what permanently what truth. Yeah, permanent truths, scientific facts. Whenever you want to talk about scientific facts, you use the present simple to talk about it. Okay. Daily routine and regular habits. Yeah, what you do regularly. I visit the gym. I go shopping in the weekend. I visit my grandma. I enjoy I eat rice. I eat rice for lunch every Friday. These are what I do regularly. So I don't need to use the present continuous for that. They are all in present simple. The fact that I do them regularly and their daily routine, regular habits. Sometimes it can be schedules, fixed timetable. For example, we have English 11 a.m. every morning or every Monday and Tuesday. Yeah, we always have English. Yeah, sometimes you want to explain how often you do that. That's when you put the habitual thing there always. Yeah. When you want to, so something that happens regularly, that there's no distractions. Yeah, something that happens always, you use what the present simple to present that. So this is the form of the present simple. This is the form. You know, every sentence must have a subject. That is the person that wants to carry out the action. So it can be in form of noun or pronoun, which I believe we have done the lesson already. So next is what? The subject plus what? The base verb. The verb in what? In its base form. So it can either be what? E or es, depending on the subject. Yeah, you know, the singular subject goes with singular verb, plural subject goes with what? Plural verb. He, she, it. Yeah, he, she, it. It will go with what? S or es. Yeah, I, we, you. That would just be the verb in the plural form. Okay, so let's look at the crucial exam warning. Key point, it is not happening right now. Yeah. It is what? General. Yeah, you know that these are general events. They are not happening right now. They are things that you basically do all the time. It can be facts, it can be permanent truths, it can be scheduled, fixed timetables. So these are things that happen always, but it's not necessarily that it's happening right now. I think you should pay attention to that. She eats rice every day. Yeah, she eats. You know, she should attract what? A singular what? Verb, which would be what? Eats. Yeah, you know, whenever we have eats, this eat here is what? It's plural. So that would what? Attract a what? Plural subject. So it goes with it will go with what? I, you, we, they. For example, you can have I eat, he, you eat, they eat. Don't mind my writing. They eat, we eat. You cannot say I eat. I think that's on the subject and the verb agreement. Every subject must agree. Whenever we have the singular subject, it will go with the singular verb. Plural subject will go with plural verb. So that's what I'm just trying to analyze here. And we all know that the singular of it is eats. With s, the plural is what? Eats. So we need to pay attention to that. So we eat, but whenever we have what? He, she, eat. So that will will go with what? Eats. So that's what I'm trying to analyze here. So we cannot say she eats rice every day. You know, this is what she does every day. So that would automatically go with what? A singular what? Verb, which will be what? She eats rice every day. That's the correct form for that. So please kindly pay attention to that. Can we proceed? Okay, let's proceed. If you have any question, you can just drop them on the chat box. I'll be happy to attempt that accordingly. Please kindly mute yourself as you are joining the class. Okay, the next one is the one that has to do with an action that is in progress. As we just talked about the present simple, which explains habitual actions, things that are generally true or a fixed routine or timetable. So now we are moving on to the next tense, which is the one that explains actions that are in progress. Yeah. So some of you would look at when do we use present continuous? I'm very sure some of you had something about tense before, but you still struggle with identifying the different types of tenses. That's what we're here to do. When to use the present continuous? The present continuous is actions that are happening in progress. Whenever you're speaking, or the speaker is talking, yeah, the action is still in progress. It's not completed. It's in progress. That is cooking in another word, in a layman or informal word. Yeah, it's still cooking. Okay. So when do we use them? First, action happening right at these moments. So it's always important to check the time word there in the sentence. The action is happening at this moment. Is a temporary situation around now. Changing or developing trends. Sometimes we have some changes that are happening in the country or in an organization. So you tend to use the present simple or the present continuous for that. Okay, so what's the form? This is the form of, let me annotate. Okay. So I'm going to annotate now. So this is the structure. You need to pay attention to the structure. The structure of the present continuous is different from present simple. You know, the present single, you always have the subject plus the verb in this base form. Yeah, whenever you have a singular subject, you have the plural verb, this plural, singular subject will go to singular verb, vice versa. Plural subject will go to plural verb. Now we're talking about what the present continuous. So this is the structure. Subject plus what? Am, is, are, plus verb plus ing. Please kindly pay attention to that. Okay, so the subject plus what? The be verbs, am, is, are, they are known as the be verbs. They are helping verbs in what sentence, plus what? The main verb plus ing. That's that. I know we have many mathematicians in this lesson. So if you have that, if you hear plus, I believe that is something that you should be used to. Okay, so the subject what? Am, is, are. If the subject is singular, so you have to choose a singular helping verb plus what? The verb plus ing. That's the gist of it. That's just the structure. No big deal. So these are crucial exam warning that you need to pay attention to that. To Never drop the auxiliary verb. Yeah, it's always important you what place the auxiliary verbs, which are what the helping verb. Always place them whenever you're writing anything that is related to what present continuous, because the action is happening is still in progress. It's happening right now when the speaker is speaking. She eating right now. It doesn't even sound right. She eating right now. So what's the correct form? It will be what? She is eating right now. Yeah, you can see this now here. This right now has explained that the action is still in progress. She has not completed the action. She has not finished eating. She is still eating. So the action is in progress. We use what? The present continuous for that. She is eating. So we use she, eat, plus this be verb, what? Is, plus what? The main verb plus ing. The main verb plus ing. It can be she's singing, she's dancing, she's writing, she's learning English, she's studying in the class. Yeah. So it can be in different contexts. So however, you, we, they. So that would be what? No, sorry. Sorry. I is exempted from there. So it will be I am. Okay, let me just cancel the I. You, we, they, her, plus what? Verb plus ing. I am, I am. But the other ones, you, we, they, her. So, the subject, singular verb, singular subject, singular verb, plural subject, plural verb. It doesn't change. That is the permanent rule. Okay. So let's move on. This. Okay. So the next one is what? A finish action or finish actions. An action that has already been completed. Yeah, a finished action, something that you've completed or the person carrying out the action has completed. Yeah. So it's always important to pay attention to the time. This one is a completed action. So how do you use the past simple? When to use the past simple, action completely finished in the past, specific what time, past timeline, stated or implied. Whenever there's a specific past timeline stated or implied, use the word the past simple, historical facts, or completed words narrative. That's when you use what the past simple. So what's the structure? We have what the subject. So we have the subject plus what past verb. Subject plus past verb. That's verb two. When we have what eat, the verb two is what ate. Verb three is what eating. So whenever we are using the past, for past simple, we use what the verb to, which is what ate. I ate rice yesterday. I visited my granny last week. Yeah, the event is completed. Yeah, in the past is already completed. So you use the past simple for that. So you should pay attention to the verb that we are using. We are not using verb three here. We are using verb two for what? Past simple. Okay, signal words guide. Always look for what past time markers in the exam word terms. It's important to use what you check for the past time markers. Yeah, words like yesterday, last week, in 2010, 2 days ago. So these are what past time markers makers. So it's always important you check them appropriately. Let's move on to the next slide. Let me delete all this. Okay, so let's look at this comparison, side by side comparison. I eat rice. That's what I eat rice. This is an habitual routine, something that I literally do. I can say that I don't eat rice. Yeah, I eat rice. Everyone would, if I should say I eat rice, everyone will understand that no, she eats rice. This is what she does. I can say I eat rice on Sundays. I eat rice every day. I eat rice every summer. This is something that literally is happen. It happens all the time. It's an habitual thing. Yeah. The next one is what? I am eating rice. I am eating rice. Present continuous, that is in progress. Yeah, I am eating rice. That means I've not finished eating it. You can see the be verb there, which is the auxiliary verb am. So that shows you that the main verb is going to have ing. And the last one is what I ate rice. That's in the past, a completed event. So I would like you to identify the trigger words in these three sentences. What made you understand that these three sentences are what's present simple, present continuous, and present past simple? Can you identify them in the sentences? Yeah, you identify them in the chat box, please. That way I can be sure and convinced that you are paying attention. Oh, you can imagine some people are still joining. Please kindly mute yourself. Mute your mic. Kindly identify the trigger words or time clue in the sentence. In this three sentence, what's the trigger word? These three sentences, what are the trigger words? Can you mention them? Okay, I'll give you a minute for that. Please, the time is already fast spent. Kindly mute yourself as you're joining. Kindly identify, okay. Okay, the first one is habit is an habit. The second one is happening right now. And the last one is what? The past. Yeah, exactly. Eat. Yeah, eat indicate that this is present simple. Eating plus the be verb, which is the helping verb, indicates that the action is in progress. And the last one is what? A completed action. Yeah, I believe you should be able to. I believe you understand that. I'm coming. Let's move on to the next. Okay, so can you choose the correct answer? You tell me the reason for the answer. You can even unmute yourself. You know, here we are not just memorizing past question. We are going to say the reasons for our answers. Okay, everyone said B. She goes to school every day. Why is it goes to school? Can someone unmute themselves and tell us the reason for that? Why is it B? Why is it not go or going? Why can't we say she going to school every day? I want someone to help us out. She goes to school every day. Why is goes the answer? So we don't have anyone that can help us because it's a continuous process. Tofumi said it's a continuous. Is it a continuous process? Does that explain that? You know, continuous that you use can, yeah, that was really good. You tried, but continuous can be a bit confusing for people. You know, continuous is used to talk about things that are in progress. But this one, they said she goes to school every day. Why is the answer she goes